Hey, so are you finding it difficult to level up your social skills? So you can't be fully expressive, you can't tell those good stories, and you're still coming across as boring and uninteresting, okay? So in this video, I'm actually gonna demonstrate why these social skills are hurting your true confidence. They're doing more harm than good, and then I'm gonna explain how to take the necessary steps to exude that core, constant, ever-present confidence that's not going to waver in and out and in and out. You're gonna have full control over this, okay? So let's dive in. Okay, and so before we get started, if you're new, welcome. My name is Rubin and I help individuals get relief from their social anxiety attacks, the blank mind, the racing heart, the feeling like you can't breathe, the embarrassing shaky voice. That's what this channel is all about. So if that's something that resonates with you, you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification so that you know when I release a new video. And if you want to stay in touch and connect with me on a more personal basis, you could follow me on Instagram and you can interact with me daily on there. Now, your ability to be fully expressive and tell those fun and engaging stories and be that interesting and charismatic personality, what this comes down to is self-worth. It comes down to feeling worthy. This is really the core principle here. And because it's so important, I want to define what self-worth is and help you understand how to trap into your deepest core value that you have as a human being. We all have this aspect to us. We have, some people will call it a higher self, whatever you're comfortable with. Higher self, authentic self, soul. I'm comfortable with all of these, okay? Now, when you are aligned with yourself and you're being authentic, the actions you take, everything comes down to actions, okay? You cannot be expressive and then unless you take the action and you express yourself. You cannot tell those engaging stories unless you get out there, put yourself out there and tell that story, okay? Now, this comes down to action, but more importantly, I want you to think of the fuel. What's fueling the action that you're taking? Because ultimately, yeah, you want to be able to tell that story and fully express yourself, but you want your authentic self fueling that action, fueling those words. It's the energy underneath that action that really counts. Because what can happen is you could try to tell that story or fully express yourself and give your opinion, but it could be coming from a place of lack, coming from a place of fear, coming from a place where you lack the self-worth to really speak this out in a powerful way and to ultimately embody and truly live through that important principle to say what you mean and mean what you say. So really important here, your authentic self, your soul, your higher self, okay? It does not need to do anything to have value. And this is gonna cause a ton of resistance inside you. It took me years and years to understand this. You do not need a certain job. You do not need a certain personality. You do not need, certain clothes or material things in order to have value as a human being. And that is who we all are at our deepest core, at our soul level. There is inherent value. You have inherent value simply because you're watching this video, you're breathing, you're looking, you have your five senses around. Just because you have consciousness, you have value. This is so important for you to understand right off the bat. And so obviously you might be thinking that you're bombarded with negative thoughts, doubts, fears, all of these overwhelming feelings that happen throughout the day. And you're not always in touch with that ever-present resource, which is your authentic self, okay? And you're not always in alignment with that, okay? And this is a really important thing to understand because when you're bombarded with those negative thoughts and feelings, they're actually going to fuel the action that you take. Okay, and I want to simplify things here. When you're bombarded with those negative thoughts and feelings and insecurities, okay, you've shifted into your lower self, okay? We all, as human beings, we have this ability to shift into your higher self or your lower self, okay? And you're constantly shifting between the two throughout the day. And depending on how much work and healing you've done, that's gonna dictate how much you embody your higher self and your lower self throughout the day. How much are you actually in flow state as opposed to in your head here within your lower self? Okay, and so going back to this lower self here, this aspect of you, it's rooted in fear. There's a lack of self-worth when you're shifted into this state. And the important thing here to realize is that when you shift into this state, this lower self, you're going to be looking outside yourself to increase your self-worth. You're going to be looking for something external, particularly the approval of other people, okay, to increase your self-worth. You're going to be using other people and manipulating and trying to control their opinions of you to increase your self-worth. Why? Because you've shifted out of that place within you, remember, that has that inherent value. So it is crucial. I can't even put words to how important this is. You must become aware of what your deepest, truest intentions are for telling that story. Okay? Because ultimately, if you're not aware, if you're not conscious of this, you'll be telling a story in order to get a few laughs, to get attention, and by doing so, you give your power away. That's not true confidence. True confidence isn't telling a story in order to get a certain reaction or to get approval or to get acceptance by certain people. Because when you do that, you're going to fear losing that thing. Okay? So you might connect with them shortly with whoever you told the story to. You might connect with them, but then you're going to go on throughout the night or on through your subsequent interactions with that person, and now you're going to have this thing that you need to upkeep. You're going to feel like you have to keep up to a certain standard, or else that person's going to find out who you really are. And you're going to have this imposter syndrome, or you're going to feel like a fraud inside. Okay, and I'm going to put a link below the video if you're interested in learning more about how you can work with me to get that core context independent confidence that doesn't waver. You don't fear losing it. It's so deeply ingrained into who you are at your deepest core. So I'm going to put a link below the video and you can book a call with me. So it's extremely, extremely important that you get down to the underlying motivations, the why, the reasons underneath. Why are you telling that story? Because ultimately, your surface level, let's say you're at a party, you're in a group and you want to tell this really interesting story. And ultimately, intellectually, you may think that's a good idea and that's what's really needed there. I want to tell this good story and I really want to make people laugh. But if you sense into that and you sense into the insecurity that's possibly driving it underneath, okay, you will realize that you're actually telling that story because you want to be seen. You want to be heard. You want people to notice you. Okay, and so to go back to my point, you're telling that story to control people's opinions of you, to control their attention, to control what they think of you. And that's going to come across as horrible energy, because when people feel that you're trying to control them, automatically they're not going to like you. They're going to get a bad vibe from you. They're not going to want to interact with you. They're not going to want to be around you. This topic, it fascinates me because I've literally been that guy that's bought programs in order to learn how to tell stories. That's how important my mind made me feel like it was to be interesting and charismatic and a good storyteller, okay? And this reminds me of one of our students in Trigger Free. And so ultimately, you know, he wasn't working for like 3 years, okay? He couldn't work because of the social anxiety. And I remember he was saying, Rubin, all I want is to just be able to be in a conversation and not feel like I'm having a panic attack and not feeling like I want to run and escape out of there. I just want to sit in a conversation in a group and be comfortable, okay? So he was working, he started working, and we got him to the place where he was comfortable in the conversation, okay? So then obviously it's the next level. No one's ever going to be complacent just being in a conversation and just existing in there. So that was the first level. Then his next thing was, I want to be able to express myself and contribute. So then we got him to the place where he was expressing himself, he was contributing, he was connecting with his coworkers. And then it was the next level, and he started to feel like he had all this confidence, and he started walking around his workplace saying hi to everybody and greeting everybody and being the life of the party. And then what happens is he comes to a coaching call, he's triggered, he's down on himself, his confidence has taken a massive hit, okay? The reason is because he was going out saying hi to everybody, and one person didn't look at him and didn't say hi back. And it really hit him deeply. Why? Because his true intentions behind going and saying hi to everybody was really to make up for that feeling where he didn't feel seen inside. Okay, so remember, the lower self didn't feel seen. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take this action and get out there and try to push myself and say hi to everybody. But remember, when I don't get that external validation, when I don't get that approval, that acceptance, what's going to happen is you're going to lose that surface level confidence that you built up, because it's not real confidence. Remember, it's that type of confidence that you had on a superficial level, but that you were fearing you were going to lose anyway, okay? And that's how you know. If you ever are trying to take action and you get this massive backlash that you feel like a fraud, you feel like somebody found you out, you feel like your self-esteem has taken a hit, it's because you didn't have the purest intentions underneath that action, underneath the storytelling, underneath the expressivity. So it wasn't your higher self, to bring this back to the beginning of the video, it wasn't your higher self, your inherent value that was fueling that action. It was your lower self that was fueling it and looking for self-worth outside yourself, okay? So extremely, extremely important. Intention is everything. So you must deepen your self-awareness to keep learning about what your true intentions are for doing what you do. Okay, so again, I need to get this through to you. You have inherent value because you're alive, because you're breathing, and because you have consciousness, okay? That is value. You are a gift simply for that fact. And if you're interested in learning more, you can book that call below. And if you found the video helpful, please like and subscribe. The more you like and subscribe, we can get this video out to people who need the help, who need to tap into their inherent value, like I was saying. And thanks a lot for watching. Here's some other videos you can check out next. So I'll see you in the next video, all right? Peace.